See, we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it. Boosie, I'm a Midwest king. Looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You finer than all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet and I need some seconds. You say you have promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it, that shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you go playing. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you're on a mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you were playing. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast. What up, what up, what up? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming here with you today. And I got a fantastic guest. He's also on Gaming Beyond the Box with Wilmy Hood and those ragtag fellas over there. Some really good fellas. But anyways, The gentleman I have with me, as you see above him, named Scrub Nurse. How are you doing today, brother? What's going on with you? It's really, I'm happy to have you here. We've been talking since like January.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely glad to be here. I know we've been talking, and I see you in all the different chats. I see you on the podcast. I love what you're doing, and when you reached out, I just thought, yeah, that's something we just got to make happen. So I'm glad to be here. We're gonna have some fun, talk some games, some lifestyle. I'm ready to go.
Dope. I didn't get to ask you before we started the show, but I'm curious, brother. Did you have a chance to check out the questions that I sent you and whatnot?
Oh yeah. I definitely had a chance.
Any problems with any of those?
No.
Fantastic. All right, so let's turn it up and get into it. So before I actually dive into the questions, so pause this real quick. Once again, going ahead and let everybody know what like social media you're on, and you know, if you want to give out like gamer tag or PSN or anything like that, now is your chance to go on ahead and do that at the beginning of the show. Please do so.
Okay, well, you guys can find me. My main thing is on Twitter, which has some of my information as well. But my Twitter handle is @ScrubNurse3. So number 3 behind Scrub Nurse. You can find me PSN at Scrub_Nurse. You can find me on Xbox, which you're gonna find me mainly times. It's gonna be Scrub Nurse 2 words. Scrub Nurse with a space in the middle. And then I do have my Twitch that I will probably start having to do more of. That's going to be Scrub_Nurse. So those are the main places you can find me.
So pretty much Scrub Nurse everywhere.
Yeah, and then on Sundays, of course, we do Gaming Beyond the Box. We do those every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to find me on the podcast, I'll definitely be there. And every now and then you might see me somewhere else, but you'll definitely find me there on Sunday nights.
All right. Well, I'm going to show my awareness or lack thereof awareness. When did Gaming Beyond the Box move to Sunday?
We moved to Sunday maybe about 2 months ago.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to say
No, this
something.
hadn't.
I thought you were going to say something else, and I was going to be like, oh, man, has it really been that long? But no, it's only been a couple months.
Yeah, we pretty much all of last year were shut down. For those people who know, and then there's a lot of people who didn't know, Wilmy Hood was
He had
sick,
some stuff going
pretty
on
bad.
last year.
Yes,
Last like year and
he
a half
had.
has been crazy for him.
Yes, he's had COVID a couple of times, and some other illnesses where he was on life support and very close to passing away. So we haven't had podcasts in a while, so he's been dealing with that. And then with schedules with everybody like me on once COVID kind of lessened and they start opening things back up Wednesday nights, I was back starting to play drums again. So then I couldn't do the show. So when Wilmy Hood was back and ready to start podcasting again, we just moved it to Sunday evenings, and it was a lot easier to get most of the panel together. So yeah, we're on Sunday evenings now.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Now I know where to find you guys and when to find you guys now. But but please, now let's get into some of these interesting topics that I got for you. So
Oh yeah.
the first thing I kind of was asking you when you pretty much showed up in the green room and whatnot, I ask everybody this: what was your first console? I always ask everybody that off jump when they come in. You said the NES, like many others that I've had on here. What was some of the games that brought you joy during that time period?
Well, there were a few of them, not as many as most, because we'll kind of get into it. 'Cause my parents were always about grades first. Plus, I played sports, football, baseball, track, from I don't know 6 years old all the way up through high school, starting into college. So I had to buy my own video games.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
At
So we
what
kind
age did you have to do that?
the second I got the Nintendo, my parents
And
bought the
that was
Nintendo. I got the Nintendo in
no.
86.
I was just wondering how old you were in that time when you had to start buying your own games.
Oh, 5 and 6, yeah.
Oh, okay. So young, like
Yes, yeah.
lawnmower, lemonade
That's right.
stand young.
That's right. So
Gotcha.
it was cut the grass. Eventually they had me ironing clothes. So I used to have to iron all my dad's dress shirts, my dress shirts, and I would get, a quarter here, 50 cents here, $1 here, cut the grass, do dishes. And back then, everybody's complaining, oh, $70 games. Well, it wasn't nothing for one game on Nintendo to be 40 and another time it's $90. So yeah, each one of those I had to buy my own TV for my room. So my parents were about grades. If you want it, you save up your money, and we'll see how bad you want it. And I think that was smart too, because it taught me how to work hard. It also taught me kind of not to be a spoiled brat, like I'm just supposed to get everything. I had plenty of friends who had everything, but the games that I really got they started me off right, so I won't complain that. But after that, I had to pay for it. So of course you get the original Mario. I had
Absolutely.
that, but I had the 3-pack, the one that had Mario, Duck Hunt, and the Olympic Games on there. I don't know if you
Okay.
knew about that one. On that one cartridge, it had those 3 games together, and I had the power pad to go with it.
The big old power pad.
You have to
Smacking
move
it.
your bed to the side. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that,
So
man. That was when you learned how to juggle like the power pad was cool, but I remember during track and field, trying to play those games, you learned how to properly hold the controller to be able to juggle it, to be able to
mhm.
tap the button super fast, and the controller would kind of be just kind of like floating in between in between the taps. Anyways, go on ahead. It's a wild time.
So I did a lot of that. One of the biggest games that I just had to get was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that original one.
It wasn't easy.
I love. No, it wasn't easy, especially when you finally got through the dam part, all through the electric weeds and stuff, and you got to the other side. You're running around in the turtle van, but you don't have a guide where you're going, so you could easily get lost going in one building or not. So, but I love that game. Another one that a lot of people might not have played, but I always played that game whenever I could was the Little League Baseball.
Okay,
I
remind
played
me of
that
it. I don't
over.
remember that.
Um, it was a Little League World Series baseball game. Use it where you could sit there and you could throw a curveball and with your directional pad, you could make it go faster, slower, curve, slide all the way across the plate to throw folks off. And I played that religiously over and over again. Like I said, religiously because I didn't have that many games. I couldn't just buy the next one. So I ended up having my Nintendo all the way up to college. So I had that thing from 80, 85, 86, going all the way up to 99, 2000. I
Okay.
was still playing on Nintendo.
Oh, wait. You said all the way up to 99, 2000.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Were you
And
part
we're
of
going to get.
the were you part of the trend that I was part of, because it was, I mean, money. So like, were you part
Mhm.
of the trend of turning in games to get new ones, or were you lucky enough to be able to hold on to your hardware throughout the years?
I held on to all my hardware throughout the years until I moved out of my parents' house. And then stuff started missing. Of course, mom or whoever, well, we were cleaning out your old room and we went and sold those off. So I had like Final Fantasy, the American version, of course, the first Final Fantasy, which was what, two on Nintendo. I had that game. Of course, I had Zelda, the gold cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think any other the real. I had Castlevania, but I can't think of anything else real big that I had. But yeah, all those games gone. Mike Tyson Punch Out. I did have Punch Out, of course. Um, but yeah, once I moved out, those all disappeared. Went into the ether. If I could do it all over again, yeah, that I would still have them. But
Yep.
yeah, they're gone.
You'd be
They were gone.
what is it called? Boxing people out. Like, get away from my stuff. You ain't selling
That's
nothing
right.
today.
Yeah, I
Man.
wasn't selling nothing. It was so much stuff I had. Like the original Ninja Turtles with the squishy heads, the first sets that came out. Those were worth so much money. But those were the first games that I played on the Nintendo that was in my house. Of course, I had cousins. I had a cousin that lived next door. She was much older than me, maybe about 10 years older than me. She had the Atari. And so I would go over there and I would play different games, Cubert, of course, Pong, um, Frogger, different games of that nature. But my first console was the NES. NES.
Gotcha. Before we continue on, let me acknowledge the chat. You guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for showing up so far. Don't forget,
Thank you.
if
Thank
you
you.
are just showing up for the first time, hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying the conversation so far, I do this every Thursday. I also have shows Tuesday through Friday. So make sure that you're aware of that. And then you guys make sure you hit that like button as you cipher through here. I appreciate you guys. Anyways, shout out to Silent Cipher, by the way. I see you up in the chat. Sensei, Mr. Joanna Dark, Risk It for the Biscuit. Really good to see you guys out here supporting me, and having our fantastic guest scrub nurse on today. But brother, I gotta ask as well. So, like, after you got done with the NES was a big deal for you. Obviously, you kept it throughout the years. You said you played it all the way up until like 99, 2000s kind of area. It was still kind of a hot
Mm-hmm.
topic for you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm curious, like, so that was your introduction into gaming. The Atari next door at your, you said your aunt's, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over at your aunt's house. You have the NES. You're just starting to, kind of get into gaming. That was like, let's say that was your appetizer. What
Right.
was the next generation for you that was whether it was the very next generation or the generation after that or the generation after that? When is the one where you were like, I'm a gamer? Uh-huh. Yeah. This
Oh,
right
yeah.
here, I have to have it. I will have it, and I'm gonna play this specific game right here, and I don't care how long it takes. I'm beating it.
I think really when uh it was NES, when I was like, this is me, this is what I like to do. I love to play it. It would have to be that Little League World Series game.
Really, it was the
I was like,
same generation that you first started
yes,
playing games, which is the
the
first time I've
first
ever
that
heard that on this show from anybody. Usually, it's like a generation or two. They figure out that, yo, I'm a gamer. I'm actually in this for real. You said the very first generation that you got a console.
oh yeah, I was hooked. Like I said, but I had many stop gaps to guard my way. Because the NES, like I said, I had that all the way through college. Because my parents would not buy consoles. I would get the top of the line bat. I would get the next top of the line cleats for baseball, shoes, pads, helmets. My parents were like, we spend hundreds, even thousands of dollars on all your sporting equipment. I used to run track. We would travel throughout the South. I'm in Louisiana. We'd be in Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, Mississippi during the summertime. I would play summer baseball and play fall baseball. So there wasn't really time for me to sit there and buy comp. But if somebody came over, if I had my weekends off or late at night, I would play. I would play that same game over and over and over. I learned all the intricacies of the controller, when I could steal, how to steal home, how to play the shifts and all these different things on the game. But then it was a giant stopgap of I did not have the ability to have the SNES. I was one of those friends that were, oh, you got the new such and such. I'll be over there this weekend. I was the friend that always came over the house. You got the new Sega Genesis? Oh, I'll be over there. And I played through and lived through people in the neighborhood, cousins and friends, because, like I said, I never got consoles unless I paid for them. I had the Game
Dang.
Boy. Yeah, Game Boy, Nintendo original Game Boy. And then my next console was the 360. I played X.
Damn.
Yes, yes,
That is a leap.
yes. Like I said, my weekends, my week, everything, including school, I wouldn't get home till almost 10 o'clock most nights, and then the weekends playing sports as well. So, and my parents wouldn't buy. My parents gave me all the shoes I wanted to, but it wasn't going to be those new Jordans. It wasn't going to be the new Jabot jeans, different things of that nature. Either, if I didn't pay for it, I didn't get it. So, yeah, I had, when I was in college, Xbox. Played the hell out of Xbox, but it wasn't my own. It was my friends, and I would spend the night over there. My first time playing Halo was on PC. I played Halo on PC for over a year before I even got it onto it for console. So yeah, 360, if you want to delve in, when did I just start geeking out and I'm hardcore gaming, would be Xbox 360. But I knew back in Nintendo that this is what I wanted to do. I want to play games. It's just didn't have the availability to do it. But
Okay, so
360 is where it's solidified.
so let's get a little let's dive into a little bit of reality between those two consoles. Okay. Um I'm a little curious, like where you were at in life when you decided, yo, the 360 is my next jump. Because
Hmm.
obviously you were comfortable by that time to get something. And obviously it's not that you didn't want to play the Xbox. It's not that you didn't want to play the PlayStation and all this other stuff. It's just that
Hmm.
it wasn't in your bag at that moment.
Yeah, I will tell you, I had just gotten out of nursing school. So that's where scrub nurse comes from.
Gotcha.
I was a OR nurse for 10 years. Getting out of nursing school, I had saved up some money because I was trying to save up for a ring at the time for my girlfriend getting ready to propose. Well, that ended up falling apart. And I just have cash, just hundreds of dollars just sitting in my pocket that is like, oh, well, I've been saving up. Let me go right now. Impulse buy. I'm going to Best Buy. Got me a 360. Got me two controllers. Went back and got Halo, which I already been playing, and get Gears. And that solidified me and that locked
Did
me
you know
in
Gears is
to play.
popular when you were picking it up?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember all the commercials and Uh, I mean, that's one of my favorite commercials to this day. I remember Gears of War, and they had that Mad World song playing in the background, and I can just hear it right now. But yeah, the first Gears, jumping into that, yeah, that was my bag going into um, the 360 because I love shooters. I just like I said, I played on Xbox, friend's house. I played Black. I go over my friend's house, PlayStation, SOCOM, all these different things, playing different fighters, Capcom versus Marvel, all of those. But going in there, seeing Gears, seeing what Gears look like on those commercials, and it's like, this is what I have to. I have to do this. Since I got the money, this is where I'm going next. And it's
Have you
just been,
have you
go
ever
ahead.
owned a PlayStation?
Yes. I got a PlayStation 4 sitting right in front of me. I once my friend, he had the PlayStation 3. He gave me his PlayStation 1 at the time. So I would sit there and play tech and things of that nature. But I was never really multiplayer with PlayStation until 4. Um, with 4, because that was back then before you had crossplay. A lot of stuff you don't have crossplay. So there would be games that I had to buy. Like I'm playing Division 2 on Xbox, but then I got a gang of friends that play Division 2. I would buy Division 2 for PlayStation. But I had gained so many friends and amassed so many things as far as the ecosystem with Xbox. It was like I only have enough money to get what I have now, and I had 360. I actually went through 4 consoles because, of course, the Red Ring of Death that happened to me 3 times, and that could have been 2 because I was getting cracked out on playing Call of Duty and midnight releases, and just 10 hours, 16-hour nights of playing that. So I have a PlayStation. I do have PlayStation. Um, I don't have the 5 yet. I've been saving, putting away stuff. I got so many hobbies other than gaming that are so much more expensive than gaming. Sometimes I have to allocate my money how I want to. But eventually I will get the 5. I tried to get it when it first came out. It was too hard. I just said, I'll wait. I'll get it eventually. Um, but I'm
Yeah.
loving what I have right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more available than it was previously. So once you get everything
Hmm.
together, you'll probably be able to just walk right into the store and pick one up or
Right.
something like that. Um, but that's interesting. I asked you about that PlayStation because I didn't really hear a whole lot of it within your kind of history and whatnot. Um, Not saying that you're any kind of like one's better than the other kind of thing, just more or less of like um usually that's a big piece of somebody's childhood growing up, and it's really surprising that like you went from
Hmm.
Nintendo to Xbox. It's that's something that you don't hear that often, for sure. Um, so, but what it kind of sounds like from everything that you're saying is that multiplayer really kind of took a hold of you.
Oh yeah, that's if you look at the games I play and the talk, I was always around people since day one. Atari, um, playing on any kind of system, any video game, computer has always been like a communal thing with me. Either five guys huddled up in a room in the middle of the night watching anime and then having a Street Fighter tournament at your best friend's house, or just everything has been multiplayer. In college, LAN parties, hooking up um, the the consoles to one person's internet, and we all bring our own TVs and we bring our own consoles. It's always been a communal thing. So multiplayer has been the thing for me. I play sports all my life, and then there was a stop point where, okay, you're not playing sports anymore, but where's your competition? Where's your competitive edge going to go to? And that went into video games. That went on to multiplayer online experience, to be able to get in lobbies and folks talking trash. And back in the day, being in the black family, if you want to play spades, you want to play dominoes, the way to get good is to get your head bust hundreds of times until you learn and figure out what you're doing.
That's a
And
fact.
that was the same. Yeah, that's the same thing that happened with me with video games.
You gotta
Learning
deal
the
with the
ins and
trash
outs of
talk.
this and that.
I mean, people
Oh
talking
yeah.
about toxicity now. They don't know. They don't know what
Oh
it's
yeah.
like growing up in a household full of toxicity. And not in
Hmm.
like a negative way, just like in a very competitive what you gonna do about it way.
Right, right.
Like what you gonna
Yeah.
do about it, best me, and then you can talk. Kind of like attitude.
Hmm.
I grew up with that. My brother, big into football. He was he was actually the state Gatorade player of the state or something like that. Ended up going to
Hmm. Hmm.
the University of Notre Dame and whatnot. So he had that big clout, and everyone's just like, "What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" And really, nobody really looked at me like, "Wow!" Until I started working indoor skydiving.
Hmm.
They're like, "What you doing? Flying all over the damn place and stuff like that." So like, yeah, we had a very competitive family, especially when it came to
Hmm.
like sports and just like action. What you gonna do about it? Where you at? Um,
Oh yeah.
it,
Street
it's
ball
fun.
online. Yeah. What year did your brother play at Notre Dame?
Between 94 and 98, he's 13 years older than me, by the way.
Okay, then. Okay. My quarterback from high school, he was a starting quarterback from Notre Dame, uh, coming in the 99, going into
Oh, okay.
2000.
I wonder who that was.
Arnez Battle.
Yep, my brother knows that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Arnez was my high school quarterback. I was wide receiver, aka downfield blocker.
he's
He
a big
took three
deal
steps
going into
back.
Notre Dame too. He's a big deal.
Yes, yes, yep. Coming out of Bird High School.
Yeah, he
Hmm.
probably played for I think he played for who was it? Not he didn't play for Lou Holtz because he was gone by that time. He was with Bob Davey probably.
Yes, yes. And then end up playing for Pittsburgh and San Francisco. He
That's
always should have
awesome.
been a wide receiver. Once he switched to wide receiver to Notre Dame, it was a big difference.
Yep. Yeah, I remember those times, man. And my brother still is really, really on top of watching Notre Dame football every single year. He goes to some games sometimes.
Hmm.
Like it's a brotherhood over there for sure at
Yes,
Notre Dame.
yeah.
Um,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
but like, so you said you were very into sports and whatnot, and obviously you said you were into the baseball game. Was it baseball that you were in that you actually played?
Yes, I played center field and left field my whole life. Baseball, track, I ran 4x1, 4x4, 400, triple jump. So, and then also football, running back, wide receiver, cornerback. I was big into sports. My dad always played sports. He actually did a year in the NFL. He was a undrafted free agent for the Jets, and he played for Grambling State University. So he's in the Hall of Fame at
Wow.
Grambling for the first 200 players to go pro. So he went pro 76.
Yeah, graduated
So I was
at a black college, huh?
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
heard that. That's what's up. That's awesome.
So I always wanted to play sports. I always looked up to my dad, and I had the genes in me, I guess, to play sports. But I never had the drive. I guess a lot of times they'll say the best players have come from the struggle. Well, I grew up in the suburbs my whole life. I made good grades, straight A student, so it was never where I felt like, oh wow, if I don't make it out as football as my ticket out, I won't be able to feed my family or nothing like that. So I didn't have the drive as a lot of mud for. It was more fun, something I liked. So once I got out of high school, it was like unless I have a full scholarship ride, I'm not doing nothing half, no tryouts. I didn't want to be any blocking dummies, so I just gave it up. Um, I always have this good story with a friend of mine. I got a tryout letter for TCU. They said, come on Saturday, bring a helmet, shoulder pads, and cleats. We want you to come try out for the team. Of course, TCU back then was like almost $20,000 to $30,000 a year, private school, and there's no guarantee. It was just a tryout. So I was like, no.
Fort Worth.
Next year, yeah, next year that's when TCU went 10-0 and number 3 in the nation behind a running back named LaDainian Tomlinson. So I always always laugh and wonder what would happen if I just would have went and tried out. I might have made it, I might have not, but it was just funny how that happened.
That's wild. One of the best running backs of all time. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you were really competitive in that. Once you got out, I'm guessing you were out of college. Were you out of college when you got that 360 then?
Yeah, I just finished nursing school and I started getting paychecks working in the operating room, and that's when I got the 360. So that had been the end of 2005. Yeah, around that time, going into 06 is when I got the 360, and I was hooked. I had friends that were just now getting internet. Of course, when I had my PC, dial up was horrendous, and but most of the games I played, they weren't multiplayer, so it didn't worry about it. Games like Fear, Hitman, like I said, Halo. Those are games I really kind of played on PC and with keyboard and mouse too. And you can't pay me to do that now. I lost all those skills, but keyboard and mouse. Then when I got the 360 back on controller, and I was hooked. But yeah, that's where the competitive edge came in, right through college. Coming out of college, started my job, bam. That's when I had money. Like I said before, I had to buy my own stuff, but I didn't have any money to buy my own stuff, even through college. Just wasn't working. Really, I had one or two jobs, but as long as I made a 3.5 or better, my parents said I don't have to go to work. I stayed in an apartment. They paid for room and board for an apartment while I was in college. As long as I had 3.5 and above, I didn't work. So it when I had that money, then I was ready to go. A cracked lens. I'm from Louisiana. I know it sounds like it's a Texas drawl. That's because I'm from northern Louisiana.
There you go. So hope that answers your questions, a cracked lens. So with that being said, once you got deep into the 360 and you're like, oh man, this is really nice playing on these online games and whatnot. Like I'm sure you had your headset and everything, chatting with people, and game chatting with a bunch of different people, as toxic as that was sometimes. But moving on from that generation onto the Xbox One, PS4 generation, what was like
Mhm.
some of probably the most notable moments for you in particular?
Um, as far as Xbox One, I had the what was that the one edition. Um, I forgot the exact name of what it's called. The Day One edition. Yeah, that's what I had. 2013 Day One edition. And I was so ready to play, even with all the TV announcements. It was like I'm in
Hmm.
this ecosystem. I have friends. I'm getting Xbox no matter what anyway. Because like I said, it's all about community with me. I was going to play my Call of Duties, my Halos. One of the things that were really a highlight that I hate that we don't have anymore was a game like Sunset Overdrive. I think that was a big miss for Microsoft and for Xbox to let that get away, not have the rights anymore, not be able to pick up Insomniac right then. And I just look back on that as what it could have been. Um, Also, going into the 360s, I was big into Fable. So Fable 1, Fable 2.
So now we got some single player experiences we're talking about.
Yes, I got some single players in there because one of the things I had time back then as well. There's certain games, RPGs, I stayed away from because quote unquote it was a time suck to me. As far as I only have this amount of time, I've gotten off of work. I might have to do this. I might have to do that. Um, So I geared toward a lot of multiplayer games because I can sit down and play an hour and get 3, 4, 5 games in, hang out with my friends, and then do what I need to do. You hand me a game that I have to put 60 hours in, there might be 3 or 4 more games come out before I get a chance to finish it. And it kind of drew me away from playing those games. But yeah, Fable was a big one. There's your Gears, your Halos, your Call of Duties, um, any any shooter, I'm at least gonna try. Shooters have always been what's good, especially first person shooters. Those are the ones that always resonated with me. Like I said, didn't have PlayStation 3, but I go to my friend's house, played a lot of SOCOM, um, GT. Let me see, which one did we play the most? Probably three at the time, playing Gran Turismo. So those are the games I really gravitated to. We had fun. Um,
A Cracked
Also
Lens was
playing on.
asking real quick, just
Hmm.
specific on like first experience multiplayer wise on console.
First experience multiplayer wise is gonna be. I think it was Halo. It was Halo. Then Call of Duty started pulling in. I was one of those folks where I love shooters. Medal of Honor. I used to play the mess out of Medal of Honor. I loved Medal of Honor. And then when Call of Duty and basically just put them out of existence, nobody even played Medal of Honor anymore
That's a
once Call
fact.
of Duty came out. And so I was a Call of Duty head after that. But yes, when Halo first came out with multiplayer, Halo was what I started playing first. Then it was Call of Duty, and then we start gravitating, playing more of like Army of Two, your Gears of War,
I love Armory 2.
playing campaign together. Yeah. Um, um, Rainbow Six was that Advanced Warfighter? Was it Advanced Warfighter? Yeah, I think it was Advanced Warfighter. You sit there and play and with your friends and do all those things. Or some of my first games doing multiplayer.
Gotcha. All right. So, out of curiosity, obviously you said you got the PS4 right in front of you. You said that already,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Yes, yes.
how long into the generation did you wait before you picked that up, or did you pick that up more recently?
I picked up the four, maybe. I picked up the four when Last of Us Remastered came out. So Yeah, Cypher Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. I knew it was RAW, but I couldn't remember it. But yeah, it was GRAW, so Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. But sitting there playing The Last of Us Remastered, that's what really got me in there. Then you started picking up, because that's when I first got my 4. You would start getting stuff on sale. Those platinum editions or game of the year editions, God of War,
Yep.
Horizon Zero Dawn, the first Spider-Man. So that's when I picked those up. It was never, since I never had a PlayStation, I wanted to play those games, but it was never like I have to get those games. It was one of those, I'll get it eventually. When I set out and do this or that, I'll get it eventually. So that's where I ended up with the 4, and I got the 4 probably, I don't know, right before the Pro came out. So it was almost like I'm not about to buy the Pro right after I just got this 4. So I've been
Damn.
on I've been on the 4, and it's like I'll just play the stuff on the 4. And yes, so I have a backlog of PS5 games and stuff that look better on the Pro. That's like when I do get the 5, I can go back and play Spider-Man 2. I can go back and play um, some of these games that are PS5 only. I do want to try the controller, even though I hate the controller. That's one thing that keeps me off
Have
of
you used the
PlayStation more than
controller yet
anything.
so far? The new one?
Not the new one. No, not the new
You
one.
haven't even touched a new one yet.
No,
Wow.
but everybody swears by it. So
It's a lot better in my
I'm do
opinion.
it eventually. Yes. For the hours I put in, the way I hold controllers, to have both of those analog sticks right there in the middle, I hate it. I hate it. Um, but like I said, looking at the new controller and the way they have it set up, I was one of those people. I was saying, if I'm going to get the new one, I'm going to get go ahead, spend the money, get a scuff controller where I can have my offset sticks.
You see,
That's
they
just
have
what I'm used to.
Victrix does it as well. Now they have a controller
Mm-hmm.
that's similar. I don't think Thrustmaster does. I know Thrustmaster does Xbox controllers where you can move around the pieces,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
really weird but interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will get it eventually. I'll get it eventually.
Okay, so as of right now, what are you more or less playing on daily? Are you PC, Xbox still? What's going on now?
Pretty much console specific. The only time I ever played anything on PC is if I'm going out of town, or when I had COVID. Um, uh, Back, I was confined to my room. Didn't have the console in my room. I have a separate area where I have my console. We don't keep it in the bedroom. And I had that, and I played As Dusk Falls on there. I played a little of Far Cry 5 on there through cloud, but it's not the same. And I want it on my TV. I want it on a great screen that I can play, have my console, and just enjoy the game I want to. Eventually, I might do some more PC. I convince myself that I'm going to spend the money and go ahead and build a PC. When that happens, I don't know, but that's the next plan, because I, do some more streaming and different things of that nature, but have the quality that I want it to be put out and broadcast. So,
Well, that's
but
actually
yeah,
the next
mainly
subject.
console.
That's actually the next
Mm-hmm.
subject that we're about to get into. But before we merge over there, I gotta know real quick. Do you see yourself? Let's see. Let's see. Let's say 2 years into the next console generation. Do
Mm-hmm.
you see yourself still as a console gamer, or do you think by that time you'll be a PC gamer?
I think I'll still be a console gamer,
Why'd you say that so slow?
because I want the I want the ability to have the fidelity. When I see stuff like what Nvidia just put out for Cyberpunk 2077, have you seen those new trailers and stuff that they put? 130 frames per second and all this stuff, plus the ability to stream um, um, with a higher quality and all those different things. That's why I say I'm hesitant on it.
You
The,
sounded
the
hesitant.
the great thing right now that I have with the Series X is the games that I really love, that I really like to play, especially my shooters. I can play a Call of Duty at 120 frames per second. I might eventually go back to Battlefield 2042, and I can have those frames per second. Halo, I can play 120 frames per second, and to be able to have the fidelity I want to and play at 120, to put that to other games and just a FPS boost. A lot of people don't realize how much of an upgrade it is to your graphics just by having a smoother frame set. It's almost like a remaster of a game. A lot of them. So I'm definitely excited about that, and I know if I drop the money into it, the only thing that keeps me from just saying I'm be hardcore all the way is the second you buy your stuff, a hot second later, there's something new else that comes right behind it. I know with my console, they're not going to max this console out for a long time, either because they don't have the will or they don't want to put in the time to it, as we've been seeing in this generation so far. These consoles are definitely not maxed out. So, um, in 2 years, I still see myself doing that.
Well, not in
There's a
2
lot
years.
of
I
stuff
said 2 years into the next generation.
Oh, into the next generation. Ooh,
Yes.
ooh. Yeah, I was hesitant on 2 years, but 2 years into the next one. Oh man, the next generation. My
Oh,
plan
snap.
is is to definitely have the PC that I need. So I don't know. It just depends on how much I'm enjoying it, and I think I will. So
All right. So you might be a PC gamer here in a little while. Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay, so as I said, or as you said, you wanted to get more into like streaming games and I guess like content creating in general.
right, right.
When did this whole need to make content creation kind of start from you? Was it suggested? Was it something that you just sought after yourself, or how did you end up here in this moment now, where I'm talking to you, saying, "Oh, he's on
Mm-hmm.
Wilmy Hoods and all this stuff."
Mm-hmm. Well, it was working at my job. I wasn't in the OR anymore, and I had a job sitting behind a desk, typing reports, doing different things of that nature. And I was able to have podcasts just sitting in the background. I had two screens. At one point, I had three screens at my desk, and I could just move a podcast all the way to a separate screen, have whatever I wanted playing in the background, either window closed or sometimes window open while I'm doing my work, and sitting here listening to podcasts on either live on replays or like the Iron Lords, or first seeing them, or different content creators putting out their stuff. I mean, Mooch and Crab on Sundays. I used to see those on Sundays.
Give me a year
You know,
first. Like, what year
a
was this
year.
around when
If
you're
it's
like
if
starting to find some interest in it?
about about 2019, probably about 2019, because I really wasn't on the YouTube as far as podcast scene. Really wasn't into that. I didn't have a Twitter account, so I was missing out on all those. Check out this. Look at this thing. I knew about when the next Xbox showcase was coming on. I always knew about E3 from years and years on, but I was not watching podcasts at all. Um, so when I started seeing those and hearing those in 2019, that's when I started getting into the chats. I get into the chats and just typing out, typing out, typing out. Sitting there, Boom Podcast, he does 100 podcasts a week. So I would sit, and it usually was during the time I was at work. So I'd see those live. And eventually I was like, man, he's just talking about video games. I like video games. I play video games. I keep up with video game news. This seems interesting after I was in the chats of so many podcasts, just typing in and whatever. So I always said, man, that'd be something I would like to do. But one day, um, this would have been 2020, um, end of 2020 going into 2021, Noof Nukem just sent me a DM and was like, hey man, would you like to be on a podcast? And I was like, oh, I mean, I know this name. I know you have podcasts. I know you um on YouTube, but I was like, I don't know how you found me. But he's like, man, I see you in the chats, all these different podcasts. Because when I started watching one podcast, I started watching a bunch of them. I got really into. I got to listen to this one. I got to listen to that one. And
once you
he
get
sent
like
that
a
out,
once you get a few good ones, it's kind of like it turns into a little bit of a drug. And you're just like,
oh
oh man,
yeah, oh
where's the
yeah,
next podcast to give me that same kind of feeling? You know?
that's right, that's right. And then he was like, I'm gonna start a podcast and such. And me and my wife were in the middle of building our house. So I was like, look, I don't have any podcast equipment. I'm about to build this house. I'm gonna have a certain amount of money set up to buy everything we need. And my wife had a certain amount of money. We were going into the house brand new, all new furniture, all new TVs, electronics, everything. So we're talking thousands of dollars that were about to be spent. So I said, well, since I'm buying all the electronics for the house, just give me a second. And then I started researching. So I got my mics, got my lights, got my cameras, all those different things, seeing what I needed to be able to stream. And then once I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Um, didn't know if I could do it, but I knew that I could talk about a subject, especially something that I had passion about. And once we got together, started doing the show, I was like, oh man, this is fun. And then couple of weeks in, somebody else, hey, you want to do our show? Somebody else, hey, and I was like, oh, well, maybe somebody wants to actually listen to what I say. In your head, you think you can do this or you want to do this, but you don't know whether somebody wants to listen to you or
Right.
if what you think you have to say somebody else finds worth in that. Um, then Wilmy Hood reached out to me. And like I said, I've been on, a couple of other podcasts, and then playing video games with friends, 108 Dragons. And Lemon, that's my boy. We play on video games, and he's like, man, come on the podcast. Because he would be in the chats on some of the podcasts I was in. Then other folks would be in, and then that's how I kind of started bouncing around. And I was like, well, yeah, I can do this. So I've been enjoying it. It's been fun. We don't have Sunday mornings anymore with Good Morning Xbox with Nukem, but like I said, when we ended that we did that for almost 2 years. Said, well, I am a free agent, but I'm not just breaking my neck to find a new podcast. But if something comes up or somebody invites me on, I'm more than welcome to jump on it because I like talking games. I like the community. I like talking to the people in the chat, the folks on the panel, just talking those games and having fun. It reminds you of when you're in high school, when you're in college, talking about your favorite Marvel games or who has the best system, who has the best game, who's your favorite character in Street Fighter, all these different things. And to me, if you get a good podcast and and you guys are enjoying yourself and you can have that banter back and forth, I enjoy that. So I think this is something, if I could keep it going, I would love to do for as long as I can, for sure.
That's awesome. It's good to hear that you're trying to work your way into that more and more and more. When you start to get that stuff kind of set up for your streaming and whatnot, are you going to do that under your own channel, or are you going to like make a team out of it, or like what's kind of the plan of attack for you?
My plan of attack now is to definitely stay where I'm at with Game Beyond the Box, and if it's be a panel member on somebody else's channel, that right now that definitely would be more that'd be more advantageous for me now. As far as me trying to run it and have the setup I need and stuff, most of the stuff I set up and stream now, I'm going off my laptops and other equipment that I have in the house. I don't have a dedicated room to do all my streaming from where, because we're in Louisiana, there's no basements. That's one thing I
It's like
wish we had.
Florida.
There's no basement. Yeah, it'll flood. Everything is at sea level or below sea level through the whole entire state. So you build something 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get water start come in at some point. So eventually, maybe as the kids grow older or different thing like that, I can say, all right, this room is a dedicated stream room slash office, because this is my home office as well for my job. Um, I could sit there and say, all right, here we go. I have this dedicated for this, go full steam ahead. Like I said, build PC, because my PC is going to be built toward being able to play whatever high-end games, but also to be able to have the bandwidth to stream it at a high enough quality. I'm not saying I'm putting everything out 4K 60, but I don't want anything less than a 1080 60. Of course, I would rather 4K, but I want to be able to see. There's so many people who are on Twitch and different things of that nature, um, who are only being able to do it at 720. And it's nice and all, but when you're playing quick Twitch games, FPS shooters, it just doesn't look as well. And a lot of people, if you don't have the great enough streaming quality, folks will not watch it just because of the quality of your stream. You could have the best content in the world. They might not, they'll turn off automatically just because it looks grainy or it's not the best. They might follow you because of your personality, but first look, just like seeing somebody across the room in that bar. You're gonna look real hard at the hot girl first before you see the girl just sitting at the end of the bar minding her business, not paying attention to anybody else. That's just what it is. First looks are very important when it comes to doing that, streaming and all that content. That's why a lot of times you see my Twitter flooded with a lot of clips. One is because I know I can get a quick clip out coming straight from my console that has good quality, but also I do better a lot of times right now with me not on stream, because it takes away from you when you're trying not to get shot and get killed. You're trying to do this, trying to look at your chat. You're trying to see if somebody's donating or different things of that.
Engaging, yeah.
Yeah, and engaging, and then you look away dead. You look away dead, and you're dying 15 times. Guess what? The person watching is like, this dude sucks. I'm not watching this. I'm gonna go to such and such stream. So, I'm gonna get there. I'm definitely gonna get there, and I'm excited about it. It'll come with time. Um, I think if you put your mind to it and you pursue it into something you want to do and you put forth the effort, it's not never going to be something else like, I'm doing this so I don't have to work anymore. And I'm gonna be a full-time streamer. I'm gonna be a full-time podcaster. That's not the plan. Plan is to start and just have fun, like I'm doing now, but to be able to share it and interact with more people. Even if it's like a community game night with a bunch of people from YouTube that stream and we all get together and play. Those things, I love that.
Definitely. Never and also when you're first starting out, never be afraid to like reach out for assistance and stuff like that as well. I think you getting out there and playing some games and doing your streaming is something that you shouldn't wait to do. Sensei in the chat actually said, brother, Scrub Nurse, I started with a laptop and my iPhone for the camera. Um, I I kind of lean with
That's
Sensei.
awesome.
I kind of lean with Sensei
Mm-hmm.
on that a little bit, because it's just like you'll figure out the quality, but like getting comfortable with it, and like let's say you're like your first, who cares, like first 50 episodes probably won't be the best, or it won't be as comfortable as you wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But like it just it's all like just like anything else. Like you said, the whole pretty thing or whatnot, like pretty
Right.
girl, like maybe people won't notice you because you're not the pretty one at you know in the bar at first or whatnot, right?
Right.
But
Right.
like the point is to work to be noticed because like no matter how pretty your stuff looks, you're
Mm-hmm.
still gonna be, at you're still starting out at 0 subscribers, just like anybody else,
That's
or
right.
or
That's right.
whatnot. So repetition is just where it all starts. Just saying screw it. I'm gonna do it. I don't care that I'm doing this in my front room right now. I don't care how. I mean, but yeah, you definitely do need to be comfortable as well. So I see what you're saying, and
Mm-hmm.
when the time is right, the time is right. But definitely don't, or at least King David told me, like, don't let qualities slow you down, because if you go on ahead and buy every single thing, and then 10 episodes in, you find out you don't really want to do this, and you got
Right.
all that stuff for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well
That's right.
start when you got nothing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and like I said, it's not as much as the optimal gear. It is like right now. You might not be able to tell from my microphone because done a lot of work to try to cover it. I'm actually in a hallway right now. You might not know it. A lot of people don't know it. So every 5 minutes, there's somebody walking past or somebody doing this. There is, hold on, I gotta go get my clothes out the washing machine. Different things of that nature. So a lot of times when I do play or when I do stream, it's more of the late at night, or I might do it on Twitch from my Xbox without my camera on,
There
and
you
I'll
go.
just play and I'll talk to everybody while I'm playing. Just won't have a camera on. So those things I just need to do more of. I do need to do more of because I definitely love it. Excited about it.
Well, that's dope. I'm happy you're excited about it. But let's move into the representation part that I like to have on this show. I like to always have the guest that's on
Mm-hmm.
shout out some people that kind of help them get to where they're at, or at least encourage them to continue to move forward. Do you have some people within
Mm-hmm.
this gaming industry or even outside of it that you would like to, show that appreciation for?
Oh yeah, there's several people. Man, especially using the word representation. When I first saw the Iron Lords podcast and seeing the diverse crew and then seeing more people that look like you doing a podcast, having fun, goofing off, being able to have the knowledge that they have and then bringing it to a group of people and for folks to enjoy it, to want to do super chats, to want to donate, to just engage in the chat. That gave me a lot of inspiration of as far as, wow, this is awesome. Because a lot of times, especially in the beginning, you would see anytime you see somebody that looks like you and they're doing well, it gives you that bump of confidence and you're just happy for them. And then I was just like, yes, this is something, you think about it, but it's like, yeah, this is something I would love to do. Whether I'm perfect at it or not, this is something I'm very interested in. I mean, if I know right, if I remember right, we're supposed to have Lord Cognito on our show Sunday night, Gaming
Hmm.
Beyond the Box. So that'll be great. I've seen different things as far as having Noof Nukem, like I said, first reaching out, the first person to ever say, "Hey, do you want to come on the show?" I'll always be grateful for him. We started the show, had the podcast, and if he wouldn't have asked me, I don't know when I would have actually started. It might have been just an inspiration of that's something I want to do. But someone asking and saying, "Hey, I want to start the show by this date.
Yeah, that
Will
brings
you
it to
be ready?"
reality.
Yes. And it's like, "Oh, you want to start when next month?" Oh, well, I'm buying all my stuff for the house the month before, and let me learn how to use it all, and I'll be ready. I didn't have a choice. Yeah, it was in my head, but when it was like, we're starting this date, then it's like, okay, this is real. This is real. Um, like I said, for Wilmy Hood, I appreciate, like I said, I was only on, I think we might have been like 4 or 5 episodes in, and Wilmy Hood was asking, "Hey man, you want to be on the podcast and come on for a show?" And I came on for a show, and then they needed another person. A week or two later, I came on the show, and then eventually, because I was in the chat, I was always in the chat, and then eventually, he was like, "Hey man, we want you to be a member." I was like, "Wow, I never thought you would want me on there. I just thought, hey, just somebody to come on the show." But I appreciate to them and to everybody who is on that panel, because we sit and talk every day. We're on the in the DMs. We goof off with each other. We actually played games together. It's not just we show up to do the podcast and then see y'all next week or whatever. Um, when one person is down, the other person helps lift the next one up. And everybody on the podcast, this is what gets on my nerves with a lot of people. Everybody on the podcast is not Xbox centric. Everybody on the podcast isn't, you got Xbox centric people, you got PlayStation centric people, you got people that play mainly on PC, but we all play games and we all like to talk about games. We like to goof off. And that's why I enjoy it. All these people who, yes, you're going to have the console war. To me, console war has been going on since the dawn of video games. Everybody sitting there at school talking about whose console, what game's better than the rest. All that vitriol and extra stuff where you can't be friends, or you gotta be, you gotta talk a certain way on Twitter, or someone will say you're not a true believer in all that crap, and just throw it out the window. And I know it can work. I know it can work because, like I said in our podcast, we got people who play everything, and we don't have a problem. I've never seen anybody get mad at each other because of what console they played, or what do they think about this game versus that game. So I'm loving it. But yeah, those are the people that I really like to thank and give the shout out, because those were inspirations. Lemon 108 Dragon TV and that podcast. Seeing him in the chat and then having me come on the show a couple of times, and then we play video games every couple of days. We'll get on COD or something like that and just goof off and have drinks. Where he would even come, and when I'm not on, some of the friends that aren't used to be in my clan on Call of Duty, he's like, "Oh yeah, I played with your homie such and such," and and it's just like I was playing with you, and we had fun. So um, those people are really appreciate. Somebody like Mooch. Um, we always talk DM whenever we get a chance, and our schedules are just horrible where I can't make it to his podcast. But seeing him long time ago, even before, some people are like, "Oh, Crap Gamer went from Xbox to PlayStation," or whatever, all that debacle fight and stuff like that. Mooch has always been a cool guy to reach out as well to me as too. So there's so many people out there, and I know I'm gonna miss, but anybody who's ever watched me on a podcast, or give me a good word, or appreciate what you do, or thank you for this or that, or hey man, I really like your point about such and such. I appreciate it, because none of these podcasts would grow the following we did without the people who come and watch it, or who like it and share it, all those things. Would I do it anyway? Yes. Like I said, it's not about all the clicks and all the, how many super chats you can get. But it is nice when you do see that.
100%. Yeah. So moving on to some of the questions I had that were kind of, and I kind of call this section more or less kind of the quick hitter kind of questions because I mean you kind of get your
Mm-hmm.
answer and then move on from it. So
Yeah.
so out of all of the genres in video games that you've played, what would you
Mm-hmm.
say is probably the one that you would be least likely to like let's say you were in a rental store and you
Mm-hmm.
could say that you could rent any genre. What's the last
Mm-hmm.
genre that you're looking at and you're just like, nah, I know I'm not. I'm not interested in this.
Souls games. I'm
Souls
horrible at
games.
them. Yes, yes. I don't have the patience. Even if I learn the patterns, I'm one of them persons who are greedy and have to get that extra hit before they start that pattern again. And then boom, dead. I do not have the patience for Souls game.
When's the
And
last? What's the last one
you
you bought?
the last one I didn't buy it. I played it through Game Pass. Um what was the last one on Game Pass that just came out?
Was it like Mortal
Um
Shell or something?
no, not Mortal Shell. It's not Souls, but it's close to it.
Wulong?
Golly.
Wolong?
Wolong, yeah. After that first boss, I was like,
Did you beat it? The
It
first
took me
boss?
no, because I stopped and I said, if this is the first boss, I already know what I'm into. And it's like I got the first boss. And, they had the two forms, right? You take
Yes.
out the first one. The first one was no problem for me. I'd done it 100 times, taking not literally 100, but and then I would get the second form, and there were several times where it was like one more hit left and died. It's like I'm not a masochist. I'm not about pain and suffering, and I always knew that about Souls game. Like a game I like to watch people play, Sekiro. Those type of games look awesome. I like the story behind the style, the art, but I do not have the patience and I do not have the temperament to actually want to stick with it. Souls games, I don't want to do. Probably platformer after that, but that's further out.
Yeah, I think
That's why I like
Silence.
Game Pass.
I think Silent
Go
Cypher's
ahead.
with you in the chat. He says, haha, I'm
Hmm.
with you on that, Scrub Nurse. I thought,
Oh
or,
yeah.
or though I just don't like them because I don't have the time to get abused nonstop. Haha. Enjoy
Yeah.
beating games instead of banging my head into the wall.
Yeah. So the soul games is like I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And I tried. I tried. I like what Wolong has to offer. I
It's
really
fun.
do. And- But I was like, I can't do it.
It's fun, and I beat it now twice. One time single player, the other time co-op with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Co-op time was so much better. The single player is fun, but the co-op is it just
Mm-hmm.
like when you die and you're with somebody else that dies, it's more fun than when you're dying and
Mm-hmm.
you just don't even know what to do or you don't know how to you at least have the ability to
Right.
possibly get back up and keep going when you when you got another
Right.
person in
Right.
the game because they might revive you or you'll spawn
Uh-huh.
like Halo, you spawn like a few meters behind them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you do
Yeah,
not
and
get
then you
that.
have somebody, yeah, somebody to cheer you on and say, let's do it one more time. Because yeah, after you don't realize how much time you look up at the clock, you're like, I'm still on this boss. It's like, oh God. Like,
Sensei said he'll do
no.
some co-op with you on Wolong if you want to. He said, "Promise we'll have a
Uh,
blast."
yeah, we might have to try that. I
He
played
has to
some
get past the
Call of
first
Duty
boss
with
though. That's the
Sensei.
problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I ain't got past it yet. I've we played the other night with Sensei and man, we had a good time on Call of Duty. We got in some real sweaty lobbies, but that's because he's a good shooter and I like to think that I'm a pretty good shooter too. So we had fun. I'll deal with a quick game where we got some sweaties beating my head in, but I know I can come back the next match. So we'll see. We'll see. I can't promise anything, but we'll see.
All right, so Souls games is the genre that Scrub Nurse is dodging.
Hmm.
What are the best 3 games that you played within the last 365?
Um, Cyberpunk 2077. Once the update last year, I said that was my game of the, even though it didn't come out, but I know it was an updated version of it. But man, fantastic. Like I said, I don't have time for RPGs. I always say this, but that game sucked me in, especially being first person. The story that it had, the visuals, just the city, Night City, the way it looked, the characters that you dealt
It's
with.
very dense. It's a dense game.
Yes, yes. So I was like, man, that was it for me. I can't give that game enough praise. In the last year, 365, so that cut out a couple of games. Hi-Fi Rush that came out. Man, I think that was one of the great surprises, but um to be a rhythm game, because I love music. I am a musician. To play a beat game and to have the fun, to have all the different genres come together. Um, have your rhythm, have a little of your platform, have the comedy that you would have from anime or Japanese studio tied into it as well. Um, to be able to bring in different players, jump them in and out, teammates with you at the same time. I think that was just it was a great little game. And let me see, what would I a third one that I'm just really like, oh wow, last 365. Uh, nope, can't say The Last of Us 2 because that's been longer than that. Been longer than 365.
Well, since you haven't played it for over a year.
Yeah, it's been past over a year. Here's a little one, because I love games that are fun and just have you link to it. Because yeah, I'm not gonna say Call of Duty, 'cause Call of Duty's too easy. Um, a little game like Forza Horizon or Vampire Survivors, for that game to come out.
Which one you picking?
If I have to pick between those, I'll probably say Forza Horizon 5,
Okay, I
because
literally just got done
I
playing
love that game.
Vampire Survivors before we got on here.
Vampire Survivors is so good. It's so good. It's so good. Man, I played that game for hours. I hate it with a passion on mobile, but because with the lag and me using my thumbs on the screen and stuff, it just doesn't work for me. With the little bit of lag that you do get, but on console, it's just phenomenal. So I love that. But I'll say Forza Horizon 5.
Have you played the rally part at all?
Yes,
It's
I played the rally part.
fantastic.
I don't know how deep I am. There's so much stuff I still have to do, but the rally is so good to be able. And I know you have games out like Dirt and different things of this nature, but just the way that Playground Games does racers and the feel of the game, and to put in there just like in a rally race, you have the ability to turn off um, your directional with the arrows to be able to just say turn left, turn right, hard right, short left,
Water,
all those different,
chicken,
yeah, chickens, yeah.
chickens.
Man, yeah, it's phenomenal. I'm loving that right now. And I've played a little bit of uh both, but I mainly played the rally where it's just time trials, you and your co-pilot or whatever, going through and seeing if you can beat the time of everybody else. Yes, racing with the other, cars, it might be 12 of you on a track. That's fun too. But to be able to be on there by yourself, not having to fight through those cars and just seeing if you can beat the time, has been really fun. I'm enjoying that so much right now.
No, it's fantastic, and I'm really loving that anti lag. and it just that all that popping noise, pop 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 pop. Like as soon as you drive over like a hill, it sounds like a machine gun is coming out of the back of your car. It's like pop 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 pop. It's fantastic. I love it.
Good. It's so good. MLB The Show. If you hadn't had a chance to play that, I went through the Negro Leagues. If you just wanted to say, "Oh, I'm not a big MLB fan," but to find the story about the Negro Leagues and to play through the story, you might end up being a pitcher, and you might have to throw 3 shutout innings, or you're a hitter, you have to get 2 home runs in a game, or different things of that, and then go through and learn the story of these unsung players and heroes who were fantastic in the Negro League. Some of them that actually made it to Major League Baseball, and hear their stories. And a lot of times people don't know it, being a baseball fan, and they hear these names and they hear who did this and did that, and maybe they never made it to the Major League Baseball, but now they're in the Hall of Fame. Or you might have heard different stories about these black and Hispanic players. To be able to sit there and do that, I think it's phenomenal. I think anybody, especially someone who's a baseball lover, who wants to know the history of baseball, or just somebody who wants to know some of that history that might not be a big baseball fan, I think they really need to play MLB The Show and go through that. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, so I mean, it's nice to hear that they have something to pay homage that's not just Jackie Robinson, everything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I know you got to know what I mean on that one, because it seems like anytime somebody brings up the Negro Leagues, it's only Jackie Robinson that comes out of the conversation.
And Jackie Robinson was definitely not the best player in the Negro Leagues at all. I think it was more that he could be the most. They talk about it too. He could be the most marketable. He was a veteran, just come out of World War. He was married. He was quiet. He wasn't flashy, show off.
Yeah, he was the great hope, right? He was the great hope in that situation.
And when you hear the stories, with Satchel Paige, or a person who I thought they was going to have in there, or wish they did, Josh Gibson, who a lot of people say was the greatest home run hitter in Major League in baseball, period. Most home runs, but a lot of times you didn't have those years. Everybody didn't give exact scoring. Some years you wouldn't have official records, so they say some of his home runs might have been toward, 800s, in that 700 realm, in that 800. Some people even go to 900s, but a lot of people never heard of Josh Gibson. There's a movie that used to be on HBO back when I was a little kid called Soul of the Game, and it was basically a whole movie about the Negro Leagues. It's awesome. If anybody has never had a chance to check it out, I think it's great. But yeah, the Negro Leagues on MLB The Show is fantastic. Check it out if you hadn't had a chance to.
I haven't. I'm gonna have to download it, because I was listening to my buddy Matt play. I'm in a party chat with him like every night, and he hopped on there and he was having a ball, and I was just like, baseball? Like he's a basketball dude. I respect the sport of baseball, but I find it not my thing exactly. I will go to a baseball games. I've been to many Rockies games. I've been to several baseball games, as well as like Chicago White Sox. That was an insane game that had fireworks and everything. They won on the last. They won in the last inning when they were at bat, right?
Yes.
So it was insane, right? And it was a home game, so it was just extra nuts with the fireworks and everything. I actually hung out for the whole evening watching that. It was pretty good. I enjoy that kind of stuff live and whatnot. I haven't loved a baseball game since like Slugfest.
Okay.
So that shows you like kind of my how long ago that was. That's like, what's that, like 360 or original Xbox? I think that's original Xbox.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, this one, like I said, it's you're not playing whole baseball games when you're going through the Negro League. So you get that history, but then you get a little taste of your baseball. You might pitch one inning, but you have to strike out all three players, or they might say you play this game, you have to have three hits or four
Sounds kind
hits
of like
within the next
2K
two
with the
games.
whole Michael Jordan story thing where you have to do this
Yes,
specific
yes,
thing. You
yes.
got to get
That
40
is, yeah.
points or 20 points in a
Hmm.
quarter or something crazy.
Yeah, and it's worth it. It's worth it, especially if you're not into the big, long, drawn out games. Which, yeah, if you do the real games on MLB, yeah, you might play 2 or 3 hour games sometimes, depending on how your the simulation and everything, how the players go. Yeah, you're gonna play a while. So I think it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely check it out because I just want to see what that story mode is all about, more or less.
Hmm.
Not to
It's
do like a
fantastic.
dynasty mode or anything of that nature, but definitely to do the story. And I do the same thing with Madden. I'm more of a football guy. I mean, if you couldn't tell, I told you my brother went to Notre Dame. I played football
Hmm.
since little league football all the way up until I graduated high school. I played
Hmm.
and carried on the passion for a long time, but not really big into Madden games anymore. Kind of fell off the passion, the passion wagon with Madden once they kind of became the only um once EA became the only publisher to be able to make it. It kind of became less attractive for me, I guess.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
all in all, I'd love to still get into football video games. I just wish more people made them. But I still, like, not that long ago, I actually currently have Madden, the current one, downloaded on my Steam Deck, and I've been playing through the
Hmm.
story mode of that just because I like the stories and stuff of some of these games. Now the 2K
Yep.
one, I cannot do. I've tried the
I
2K
understand.
one, and I love the basketball simulation part of 2K. I think it's great. I think the shooting
Hmm.
could be a little bit better throughout, iterations, but doing rap battles and
Yeah, yeah, and
and
get your
skateboard
haircuts and all
tricks,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and all this weird photo shoot, uh be friendly with somebody that's not your fan, like that
Hmm.
kind of stuff is just weird to me, and it's like not really about basketball anymore. It's about popularity contests with a side of basketball,
Right, right.
and I'm good on that. Not really feeling that, but I do enjoy me some 2K. I just don't enjoy the the weird RPG that they try to give you, or MMO type of,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
just weird. It's just weird. A bunch of people rolling around, like you start out with a skateboard and it's like, I don't even want this thing. Like, can I get a taxi? Like, because I don't want to
Hmm.
I don't want to go all over the place on this skateboard. This is whack.
Right.
But we're getting towards the end of the show. I only got a few
Yeah.
questions left for you. This one is always one of my favorite questions to ask people because they usually get kind of specific with this one. I guess, kind of because they're forced to. But what's your favorite studio, and what game best represents that studio? Is it
Well,
Activision and Call of Duty?
yes. Yeah, I hate to be predictable, but it's more than just Call of Duty. Coming from the time I really got into the 360 era, this is the reason why I say Activision. You got your games. I am a musician. I've been playing drums for since I was 8 years old. So 30 plus years. So I love music. I love to hear music. To be able to play a Guitar Hero, Activision come out, a Band Hero, DJ Hero. To be able to come together with you. That's what a lot of times in college, when you didn't have the money to always go to this club or this party, this Me and my friends, that's what we did. Come over to the house. Everybody to bring your instrument. I was the drummer, so I had my drums. Another one had their guitar. Another one, I had my bass as well. And we would sit and drink, hang out, and play all night long. So, Guitar Hero, like I said, Band Hero, DJ Hero. Um, you got it, of course, your Call of Duties. But then you have to think about with Activision until Bungie separating had themselves. You got your Destiny coming out, your Destiny 2. That was published by Activision. So I got into Destiny 1. After a while, I kind of fell off of that, but Destiny 1, the Crucible, playing that was fantastic. Um, Activision also had they had Doom for a while. They had Quake. Games like Pitfall. Like I said, another game that even though it's not for me, I love for what it is, and so many other people, Sekiro, um, and like I said, of course, all the years I played Call of Duty. Did I mention? I said Doom and Quake, yeah. To be able to have all those games together under that one umbrella, not counting all the other stuff, but just like I said, stuff that mattered to me. That's why I say that's my studio. Because nowadays you have a lot of studios that they just do one game. This studio, Playground, does Horizon. Okay, 343 does Halo. Coalition does this. Naughty Dog does this. Things of that nature. But you have a big publisher like that can have so many games under their wing. Um, that's why I say Activision. Now, that does not mean I love everything that Activision does. No. Am I a fan of Bobby Kotick? No. Am I a fan of a lot of the things that have happened in the last couple of years that have come to light within the studio? No. This is all based on just the games that I've played and that I love. Excuse me. That I think right now that's my big studio. And of course, as they have all these other support studios under their wing to make Call of Duty, that is something I've rocked with since day one. So yes, Call of Duty is the game that sets up for that studio. It'd be just like saying Fortnite and Epic. I mean, you can't say one without the other.
That's a fact. That's a very good
Mhm.
comparison right there. Actually, Fortnite to Epic, Call of Duty to
Mhm.
Activision, Halo to 343, I guess, or Bungie, whichever one you want to say.
Right.
I guess. But
Bungie, of course, it was better under Bungie. Most people will agree to that. So yeah.
I feel like the story was better under Bungie. The mechanics
Yes.
feel fantastic of Halo Infinite, and I will go back and play an old Bungie game. And I'm sorry, this may hurt someone's feelings, but I feel like Halo Infinite feels better when I'm shooting the guns than any of the old Halo games, and that goes for any of the old Halo 343 games as well. Infinite
Mhm.
just feels very snappy. Like once I got that pistol for the first time, and I got to get a
Oh yeah,
headshot with that pistol, that pop 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 pop, like it's as fast as you can pull the trigger.
That's right.
And that's just fantastic to me. So like I can't knock that, but I will say, I mean, it's just like you can say the same thing about Epic and Coalition, right? Epic had the better
Mhm.
stories. Coalition, they got down the timing and stuff like that Epic was working to get towards but never got to. And I
Right.
feel the same
Right.
thing about Bungie and Halo. It's not that they didn't do great;
Mhm.
they did fantastic for their time, but they didn't get
Mhm.
they didn't hone in Halo like they honed in Destiny,
Right.
right? So and plus Destiny is a game that's lots of updates compared to where Halo back in those early Bungie days were standalone games, and once it was out, there was no updating it
Mhm.
for the most part. Once you got to the 360, sure, but
Right.
But anyways, welcome a few other people. Nelson Gaming, I see you up in here. Fastback, OGNLG podcast. Good to see you as
That's
well.
right. Good to see you for sure.
Yeah, really good to see you guys up in the chat. I still see Sensei up in here and Silent Cypher. But we got about, I want to say, like 3 questions left. One
Sure,
of them
yeah.
is, what games are you most excited for the rest of this year and into the future? So I don't want you just to go all over the place and list 100 games. I want you to list some
Yeah.
games that you think are potential day one buys for you where we stand, based off of whether it was a trailer that you've seen or if it was like just like something that just got, dropped and you haven't seen anything, but you have high expectations for it. Like, where are you at?
It was Starfield. That was my most anticipated game for.
Oh, you said
whenever
was.
for
What
this year.
happened?
Exactly. I played that Diablo 4 beta.
Oh no, you got sucked in.
And this is my first Diablo, because Diablo,
Same.
wow, a lot of these games is like, I'm not doing it because it's gonna take my life away. I don't have the time to do all this and right. But man, I played that beta and I didn't even play with anybody else. I just did it solo because I only got in like the last 2 days into the beta before it closed. And I was like, wow, I've never played a beta that gave me that whole intro and beginning cutscene and all
It's
that
brutal.
and CGI.
It's brutal.
I said, wow. That you're putting all this work in the beta, and it's looking like this for the beta. It's like, man,
I played full games for shorter amounts of time.
Yes, I was like, I made me a necromancer build. Like I said, I didn't have enough time to do anything other than necromancer, and I said, yeah, this is gonna be my game for right now. Starfield was more of, because Starfield, I don't think Starfield will ever be a game that is up my alley as far as what I want to play. I want to learn the story. I want to play the game, but to add people to help run my ship and to do this and all that's captain of the ship, and that sounds good. I was like, I don't know. The shooting mechanics, what I've seen, it's like, it doesn't look fantastic, but the game looks phenomenal. The promise of what they say is like, that's what I wanted to see what they were able to do with what they've said, and then the hype that everybody brings to the game. I want to see, is the hype worth it? So that's what, and see how far it pushed the console. But once I played Diablo 4, but I was like, no, it's Diablo 4. It's Diablo 4. That is my most anticipated game. Now down the road, it's 2 games that are, of course, Redfall. I'm going to play Redfall without a doubt. Redfall is in there.
How's that shooting look for you right now?
Right now, I can deal with it, and I've heard that it's gotten even better. Like I said, it looks way better than Starfield. So
wow, that's a hot take.
No, Starfield shooting mechanics look trash. I don't care what nobody says.
All right, so you're just talking about shooting mechanics.
The shooting mechanics. Yes, okay. The shooting mechanics. I'm big on shooting mechanics. That's why Call of Duty stays on top, because of the shooting mechanics. The only people to me that match that is the same people that kind of worked with Call of Duty, which would be the same people who made Titanfall. Titanfall shooting mechanics are just chef's kiss.
They're fantastic.
Remarkable. Fantastic.
I love the shotgun. Everybody hated it.
I
loved it.
I hate that we'll probably never see it again. But Redfall is going to be played, but in the future, really, like future, it's going to be Hellblade and Fable.
I find it interesting that you're nervous more about the gun mechanics in the Bethesda game, which they have some gun mechanics in their games for sure. Fallout being a big one, but they've always had, like, always been kind of weird, right? The shooting
Mm-hmm.
mechanics always has been
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird in Bethesda games. Now, technically, Arcane is Bethesda as well, or they're under the same
Yes.
umbrella, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just weird to hear that you're so confident in one Bethesda game over
Yes.
another Bethesda game in the shooting mechanics. And this is Arcane's like first attempt that I know of them doing anything multiplayer
And I'm
based.
just going based off what I've looked in the trailers. Like I said, Starfield shooting mechanic, we've only seen one. Those guns to me, they're everything is perfectly flat. It has like a staggered effect when the shooting comes out. It doesn't look smooth compared to what Redfall has shown us. Do I think Redfall shooting mechanics are fantastic? No, but I like them more than Starfield. And plus that Starfield, it isn't all about their shoot mechanics. So it isn't all about run and shoot. So it's more about story, exploration, all these other things. So I do think, and like Silent Cypher said, Wolfenstein, they had those people that come in and
Yeah,
help
Machine
with
Games.
Redfall. So that gives me more promise for that. So yeah, I definitely want to see those games. And of course, like I said, I have a love for Fable and Hellblade 2. It just everything they're showing, even though I know it's max PC out the wazoo. I don't think I'll ever see that on Xbox Series X, but I'm excited for what they're gonna bring out for that game.
All right, sweet. So those are the games that you were excited for. I'm trying to remember what that first game was that you said.
I said Doom,
Oh no, Diablo.
Starfield.
Diablo is what you
No, yeah,
said.
sorry,
And
Diablo. I
and
said Diablo. Yeah.
and what I think is weird that not a lot of people bring up. I mean, I've heard people bring it up in an awesome kind of factor, but I haven't heard anybody really bring it up in the this is why I'm interested in this Diablo factor. And
Mm-hmm.
and for me with this Diablo, like I haven't played a game like Diablo since Gauntlet way back on like the Dreamcast
Oh yeah. Oh
or
yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
original
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation. So like Gauntlet is or was my jam, especially like Dark Legacy. That was that joint with the gesture and like the wizard and you had all
Mm-hmm.
that those stuff. So I mean I'm kind of familiar with like dungeon crawlers and stuff like that, but when I seen this one, there was like a level of dare I say
Detail.
maturity.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt really like when I looked at it, I was just like, wow, that looks kind of realistic. And then I got into a cutscene and I was like, that looks scary realistic. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
the what's her name? God dang, what was her name?
Lilith.
Lilith. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You seen Lilith sitting in the front of the church, and it was just like
Mm-hmm.
it was a moment, right? You're just like, oh my goodness. And then the preacher realizes, and he's just like, fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody's turning on me. Oh, this is not good.
Yeah,
Yes.
this
Yes.
is
Mm-hmm.
it was so
Mm-hmm.
insane. And then wasn't there like I'm not sure, maybe you played did you get to the part early on? I'm not sure if they only played it once because I already had played it before. But did you see the
Mm-hmm.
part where the guys were entering into the area? There was like two dudes and like a black dude, and the black
No, no,
dude,
no, no. I hadn't gotten to that.
like it's that story is something. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I
That
got through the
story is
prologue and I've got some more play in there, but I didn't get I think I finished at like level 13, 14.
okay.
So I didn't get a
So
chance
you
to.
only played for like a couple hours ish, maybe.
Yeah, because I was out of town for all that week or two while I was out. I was out of town both weekends and most of the week. So on vacation and for work, so I didn't get a chance to really get to like what I wanted to.
I'm gonna keep it a
Mm-hmm.
buck with you, bro. I when they announced that they had the closed beta, right? I
Mm-hmm.
seen that commercial from KFC, big dog. I was just like,
Yeah.
yo, y'all got this chicken sandwich that comes with Diablo 4 beta. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Keep talking. I'm listening. I gotta grab something, but keep
no, you're
talking. I'm
good.
listening.
You're good. So I went on ahead and copped that sandwich, $10, and got me a whole weekend to be able to play some Diablo, which was absolutely fantastic. Started out with the sorcerer, got all the way up to level 25, which was the level cap for the sorcerer. And then the very next week, they announced, I think it was I want to say it was the druid and the necromancer got added to it. I used the necromancer and got to like level 15 or 16. Didn't have as much time to play it because I was out of town doing some family stuff. But I tell you what, like I said, the aesthetic of that game, the way it looked, the way it played, being able to hop in and play with friends, which is obviously stuff that you could do previously, except the whole aesthetic thing. Um, it just felt right this time. My buddy Matt and Mike said they played some of Diablo 3, and the Diablo 3 you can continuously like do that like sprint or dodge mechanic in the game. It's
Mm-hmm.
unlimited compared to the new one right now where it's
Oh, it doesn't time
timed.
out on you. Yeah.
Yeah, where you like have to wait like 4 or 5 seconds or 9 seconds or something like that in between
Right.
jumps. So I thought that was interesting that they said that you could do it unlimited, but I guess in this one you can't. That didn't bother me at all as much as I thought it would after hearing that.
Yeah.
The power moves you get, especially once I was playing with the necromancer, I was just like, man, what are these powers? These powers
Yeah. I
are
love
way too
Necromancer.
powerful. I felt like I was just murdering anything that came with me or that came near me. And then you have that like
Mm-hmm.
small crew of your own soldiers that's running around doing the work for you.
Yeah.
So
The
you can
skeletons. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you can almost
Mm-hmm.
pull up and just, cross your hands and just sit there and just watch your squad,
Mm-hmm.
your mini militia, just take them out and whatnot. Fantastic game.
And you and what sucked me in too is the character creator too. And I
It was
heard it wasn't
nice.
always like that before, but man, that character creator is detailed. It's very detailed. So man, I'm excited. And then everything you do, if you changed your any part of your armor, crown, helmet, anything, when you go to a cutscene, it's not generic cutscene. It has whatever you have on at that time to go into the cutscene with you. I just love that. That kind of detail is it's just phenomenal.
It is, and I can't wait for. I think it's June 5th when it actually comes out. I
Mm-hmm.
am currently. I'm not a rich person. I will buy games no problem, but
Mm-hmm.
when I want to go a little extra further with a game and maybe get like the whole battle pass and everything, like the big spender version, $100 version
Right,
or
right.
$90 version. Whenever I do that stuff, I like to try to figure out like where I can get my best deal. And as of right now, I've been grinding like every night before bed the Microsoft reward points. I'm up to
Mm-hmm.
$40, not doing too
Oh
bad.
wow.
So I'm almost half off of this
Mm-hmm.
Diablo game because I'm gonna buy the $90 edition.
$90. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
the
about that.
$90 edition looks good. The $100 edition looks unnecessary because you get like 20 or 25 level ups um, in the battle pass, and it's just like, man, if I'm gonna play the game, I'm gonna get there anyways. So why would I want to pay $10? Uh, pretty much, I'm pretty much paying $10 for you to say I played it when I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather just. I mean, that game requires like hundreds of hours, anyways, right?
Right,
So like,
right.
what? Why would I pay $10 extra to get like what, like 2 days more worth of gameplay before I actually played it? I'm good on that.
Yeah.
But we now hit the last question, which is a two-parter.
Okay.
And the first question, or at least the first half of it, I'm going to cut it in half. The first half of it is what frustrates you about gaming? if anything at all?
What frustrates me the most is whoever can speak the loudest on Twitter runs the narrative as far as the game console warrior stuff. I do not have a problem with you taping for your favorite console or for your favorite game. Hey, we all have a favorite, football team or whatever. I like this team versus your team, and that's my rival. That's fine. We, like I said, console warring has been since the beginning. I don't have a problem with that. But when folks are doing false narratives on there, or you hear stories of people sending dick pics to developers to try to figure out when this is happening, or people are using fake pictures or fake information to fool the public to think one thing is um, better than the other thing,
Or lesser, yeah.
yeah, that's what I hate, because when you really look down to it, as far as Twitter and the whole gaming community, whatever side you're on in that community, it might be 40 people on each side, or probably 40 people total can control the narrative for Xbox or control the narrative for PlayStation. And it's really only like 15, 20 people have the biggest, platform. And then you have other people underneath that pushing it. And if one person says that, then everybody underneath that pushes, and then vice versa. And it's like, there's no reason to have that. Back in the day, it was always, if I had Nintendo and you had Sega Genesis, and I wanted to play something on Sega Genesis, I went to your house and played Sega Genesis, or we traded consoles for a weekend, or we traded games for a weekend. Oh, you had that one, and I'll give you Ninja Turtle if you give me this one, and we'll play. But nowadays, it's like, no, I will never play this console because I have that console, and vice versa. And most of that is a lie. Most of the people who say, oh, I play Xbox, they got a PlayStation because they want to play those exclusives. A lot of people who have PlayStations who say PlayStation is the best, they freaking have an Xbox. Or if they don't have an Xbox, or they'll play, oh, I'll never play Xbox. They got, it might not be the best PC, but they got something where they can play those Xbox. And they might even have Game Pass, but they're not going to say that just because they can keep that console war, because the hate and the vitriol get you more clicks. More likes and more clicks get you more money, eyes, views on you, and you can see that it is not truthful. It is not based on facts, and the people are disingenuous. And when you see that, it irks me. Or when you see someone who is, I love this platform, and because they're on Twitter, on YouTube, and they don't get the clicks they want, I'm a switch because this the new hot thing. So since this the new hot thing, and you get more money, and because more folks will hype you up if you switch, which you've seen, there's several people have done. I'm not saying you can't like one console above another one, but when you see that, it's just obvious that you're doing it for clicks. Or you get on Twitter every day complaining about your clicks, or your likes, or your views. And then all of a sudden you're going to do this, and then, or the people who just get on there and just complain just to get somebody to say, oh no, man, we love what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, thank you. I feel better. And then 3 weeks later, I hate it when I don't get such and such. And then it's, it's all just a circle of people just, I need attention, or I need views, or I need ad revenue. So I'm going to do whatever it needs to be to get that. And that's not what it's for. If you want to be that person that makes the money, and I got to do this for the job, or I need to feel validated, so I'm going to change everything, it's kind of hard to understand where you lie. And why would anybody trust what you say about one video game versus another one? Because you will change tomorrow based on how it looks. So all you're doing is saying what you want other folks to hear. That's not what you really feel. So that's what I hate the most is that toxicity in the gaming industry and in Twitterverse.
I don't know what just happened. I hear what you're saying, Scrub Nurse, and it's
Mm-hmm.
and you nailed it. But Silent Cypher just sent me something, and I'm nervous to check what it is. It's something Diablo related. I tell you that much, and it has me thinking. It has me sweating a little bit. So, but you nailed it, really. Like, dude, it gets really frustrating when you're out here trying to, do honest work,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're just trying to say things to the best of your knowledge. You're not, I mean, like, I do content creation. I remember many of podcasts where I've said something and it didn't go that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But never have I felt like I said something to just say it or just to be
Right. I don't believe in
malicious
that. Yeah.
and stuff like
Right.
that. And I hear what you're talking about because a lot of people will come out here for clicks
Mm-hmm.
and also to be first. It's
Yes.
so important for some people to be first. And I don't understand it because it's like half the time you're first, you're the one with the least amount of knowledge. Or you're the one seemingly with the least amount of knowledge. The only time it seems like you have a lot of knowledge is when you have a lot of credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And when your credibility is based off of other people's credibility or other people's ability to give you the information to look credible, it's false. It's false credibility. It's fake. It's BS. I think what would be nice is if just and this may sound very I forgot the guy's name. LA riots, dude. The whole everybody should just get along guy.
Oh, yeah.
Rodney
Yeah,
King. Rodney King.
Mhm.
I don't want to sound too like Rodney King-ish, right? But let's be real. That's what needs that's the kind of stuff that needs to be said. I wish everybody would just freaking get along. Figure out what they like. If you don't like it, sure, you can not like it and be vocal about it, but have a reason behind it. Have have actually something to say other than this is shit.
Yeah.
It gets on my nerves.
Do
It
not
literally
make
gets
yourself.
it literally gets on my nerves. Like I don't mind if somebody tells me a game is shit, right? But then my follow-up question usually is why? And if you can't tell me why the game is shit, then you probably shouldn't be talking about it.
Right. Right.
Like in my opinion, I remember being asked about what was that game? Sensei, you 100%ed it. What's that game that came out last year? Really didn't do well. Got like a 40 something on Metacritic. I think Smilegate made it. I'm trying to remember, man. No, Smilegate, I believe, made it. Trying to remember. Remedy made the campaign for it.
Crossfire X?
Crossfire X. Yes. I remember calling that game. I remember calling that game shit. And people would ask me, why did I call it shit? And I had reasons behind it. Bro, I'm only playing on one map. Over and over and over. I'm playing on the same map. All the freaking time. And all of the achievements are tied to the multiplayer. When all I want to do is play the campaign.
All of them in the first hour. I'm getting achievements, but you can tell that it was set up for keyboard and mouse. Because when you try to use control on the actual controller, it moved and went all over the screen, and it didn't matter how many times you tried to fix it. And like I said, now a lot of folks have said once it's been fixed and updated, but it was so bad in the beginning, I couldn't do it. And I got on there and trashed that game hard.
Even the
But
menu
at the
system, when you
same
first get in, it's really slow, super
it
slow.
is set up for all keyboard and mouse. It's obvious. It's obvious. And I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know, which is I think so many folks are scared to do. Like right now, a lot of folks know I play Call of Duty. A lot of people know I like first person shooters. Hell, when I play Forza Horizon, my camera is on the hood of the car. I play first person in driving games. Okay. And I'm not talking about first person where I see the hands on the wheel. All I see is the ground right in front of the car. That's how I drive. But I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, such and such a game, and just make up some stories just because I'm gonna tell you, I don't know, I don't play that game, blah blah blah. And I think it will help you in the long run because people trust you if you stand by what you do and you
Right.
tell the truth and you're passionate about it. But when you're always bouncing from here to there, you're gonna lose people eventually. People are gonna rock with you until they find out either you say something they don't like, which a lot of people fall into that. I'm gonna say everything to keep everybody happy, but you're gonna end up saying one thing and you're gonna lose this half. Then you swing to get them back, you're gonna lose the other half.
Now you got nobody.
I have right. I have both consoles. Do I play PlayStation games? Yes. Am I on my PlayStation console much? No. But at the same time, I buy the games that I want to play on it, and I play what I want to play, and then I play on X because Xbox is the ecosystem that I like. It's the controller that I like. It's the friends that I like on there. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you about Dragon Age Inquisition, which is a fun game, but I was nowhere close to finishing that at all when I'm a first person shooter. And I think people appreciate that in the long run. I think we should all do that.
100%, man. But let me get to the opposite side of this question because the opposite side of this question is just as important.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what would be a dream come true in gaming.
In gaming, for me, to have a dedicated, which I have a checklist of stuff I want to see and stuff I want to do. A dedicated room, not sealed off, but soundproofed off, that I can get on the mic, I can goof off, whether I'm on camera or not, but preferably on camera, have enough screens where I can interact with my, and have enough following where when I want to get on and stream a game, I have some friends that I play with when I'm streaming, and then have some friends that's in the chat that want to contribute as far as the story, hang out. Because, like I said, since day one, it's been a communal thing for me. And that's what I like. Yes, I will play the single players, but I will never have as much fun with the single player games as I do with it's it's 10 o'clock, me and my boys, six of us gonna get into a lobby. You grab your drink, you catch up on the day or what's happening this weekend with the kids. We go play the game, goof off, and then some folks enjoy what you do. And that's what I don't, it's just like anything with money. I'm not trying to be rich. Would rich be nice? Yeah. I just want to be comfortable.
Right?
I play drums. I'm a drummer.
Just want to eat.
My drums, yeah, my drum set is $10,000. The one that I have now, all together. So when I have to fix or buy new stuff, a new kick pedal is $300. A new pair of cymbals is $2,000. So there goes a couple of PS5s right there. I live in the South. I love, I love, I don't just pew pew on video games. I do it in real life. I do like to take courses to be a tactical shooter, to have a concealed carry license or different things of that. That costs money. The guns cost money. Different things of that. So it's not like, oh, I don't have money to do it, but there's other things that I do have and other hobbies that take time for it. And I appreciate all of that, but I just want to be able to have something where I have a nice following of folks who just rock with me because they enjoy what I do. Have some friends um, that I gain on Twitter that are also podcasters that we just say, hey, me, Ham Solo could say, hey, me, you, such and such, such and such, such and such. We're gonna do a community game night on next Saturday. You in? It's gonna be about 10 of us, and we're gonna stream it. Boom. That's what I call a win right there. And you say, oh wow, it's only 50 folks in the thing. That's pretty good for most people. A lot of people don't realize when they see these Twitch streamers, most 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 Twitch streamers or YouTube, they're streaming. If a Twitch streamer has 3 people viewing them live, that's good. Most people don't get that on their Twitch stream. If they have 10 plus or more, if they have 10 plus or more people, constant viewers, that might put them in like the top 20%. Most people are streaming on Twitch and nobody's watching.
That's
they
a
might
fact.
catch it on a replay.
Nobody's watching. Like I remember just having this show. Nobody was watching, or be streaming a video game. I like to stream Ark Survival Evolved, and it's like the most boring game, but I like the game, and and I don't care. I don't care for the most part. But it's really nice when you have some people come through, watch, they hit the like button, they subscribe, and although I feel like some people say, "Oh man, that's not that many people watching," or man, not like you wish to be bigger, I'm sure, or something like that, or just looking at you more or less like I've had people outside of like Twitter and stuff like that, like personal friends of mine being like, you only have a couple of people watching, like why do you keep doing it? And I'm just like, I don't know, like why do you cook all the time? Like you just enjoy doing
for
it,
somebody
right?
to eat. Yeah.
You just
I was gonna play anyway.
Exactly. I was gonna play anyway. I didn't. I was gonna type this kind of stuff on Twitter anyways. I might as well just talk to people and put it live. I'm not afraid of a camera. I'm not afraid of my voice being heard, and I'm also, and this part's really important, I'm not afraid of being wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of being completely fucking wrong. Sometimes you think you got the information down pat, and then you get hit with a left hook.
Yeah.
Can't win everything.
Biggest thing that happened. Yeah, this is my biggest thing that happened to me because I've never been as far as a quote unquote on a podcast or a YouTuber where I had to make a stand as far as with this ABK deal. And the first time it was put out, Call of Duty's going to buy Activision, and everybody's like, Call of Duty's going to be exclusive. And that first weekend after that, and I got on 108 Dragons podcast. I got on the podcast with Kay Asante and Airborne Saga, and then I got on our own podcast that weekend with Good Morning Xbox, and I told everybody, y'all are crazy if this is going exclusive. There's no way in hell Xbox, because it was one of those things. I play Call of Duty every day, not literally every day, but all the time. I know how much money people spend on it. I know much an average Call of Duty on packs, on battle passes, on costumes, on new characters, on this, on that, on coins. I said, you'd be crazy as hell to lose all that money to go exclusive. And that was when in the beginning everybody's like, no, it's going exclusive. Xbox going. I even thought
at the time, like hell, like I came from an angry standpoint, right? Because Starfield had just got delayed.
Right.
And I was just like, you know what? Because I was on the mindset of what you're talking about of why would they do that when they could get so much more money? But then after the whole delay and everything happened, I was salty. And I was just like, you know what? It'd be fine if they just, kept that all to themselves and whatnot. And I was making up these, situations that Xbox could, see themselves with it alone once the rights or the whatever it's called that Sony has for Call of Duty for like
The marketing rights.
Yeah, the marketing rights. Thank you. After the marketing rights,
Mm-hmm.
they just shut it down. But obviously, clear heads prevailed later on, and then I finally came back to the idea of it's probably smart that they keep it third party just for the fact of, I mean, even they've even said it in some of these articles that I've been reading where it's just like, dude, they could like Call of Duty did like $1 billion in what, like 10 days or like 2 weeks or something like that. After hearing a number like that, then you're just like, man, I feel stupid for thinking that they were gonna go like Xbox only for something like that. In fact, they did the exact opposite and opened up the floodgates and said, you know what? More people are going to have this instead of just me and PlayStation and PC.
They would do that
to Nintendo
and all
that's
that,
insane.
And everybody else, all these streaming companies. But that's what I believed, and I stuck with it. And I never thought at that time that, no, this is exactly how it's going to go. But in my mind, it was like, if I was going to do that, this is exactly what I would do. And like I said, me watching Iron Lord podcast, King either has 15 people telling him everything that's going on, or he knows in his head what he would do, and he's right a lot of times. He is right a lot of times. And a lot of times but he has his pedestal. He's not right all the time, but he has his pedestal. He gives you the points of why he believes that, and he stands on it. And I appreciate, knees or not, have my knees, I bet my knees on it, whatever. He stands on that, and I appreciate that. And I think that's why different podcasts like that gain their following, not just because of the camaraderie. They're funny, they have their fun, but the people are being truthful, and they give you the information that they think they know or that they have heard, and they stand on it. And people like credibility. I'm going to listen to that person more. If he gets it right, yes. But if he doesn't, he gives his what he thinks, but then gives reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Versus somebody who just gives in there, oh no, this game's trash. Why? Because. And it's so I by seeing that, I said, I'm not going to change my personality. This is my personality. No, I'm not the what's going on, gamers? Welcome to the show. I don't do all of that. I talk and say how I am. I have my slow country accent, and I say what I mean, and then let the chips fall where they may. And I appreciate the folks who rock with that. And I think if people would actually understand that that's what more people listen to, a lot of this fanboyism would die down. So.
Fantastic. Well, with that being said, I think that's a fantastic way to tie up the rest of this episode right here. So, brother Scrub Nurse, I really appreciate your time. This was a fantastic episode. You had a lot of really good things to say.
Thank you.
A lot of interesting stuff, as it being somebody that I'm talking to that's getting more into content creating than somebody that I usually talk to that's already like knee deep in it, So it's really interesting to get your points and your thoughts across and whatever. And I thought you had a lot of great points when it came to like the whole gaming community and how people should be acting versus kind of what we're currently getting. But with that being said, please, brother, go on ahead and let everybody know one last time where they can find you on a weekly basis before we get up out of here, and before I have you do one last thing before we do so.
All right. Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter. Always posting random Call of Duty shots. I love that. And some people go, why you only do Call of Duty? I know you play other games. It's because Xbox needs to fix their recording and their DVR when it comes to HDR. If you have something you play it in HDR, when you do DVR, it looks 100 times worse. So I play my driving games. I'll play Halo. I'll play this game, but then when I record stuff and try to put it on Twitter, it looks like crap. It seems like the only thing that halfway looks decent is Call of Duty. So you're gonna get some more Call of Duty stuff. But you can find me there on Twitter at ScrubNurse3 because obviously there's a 1 and a 2 hanging around there somewhere. You can find me on Twitch, which I promise will start doing this more. Ham Solo has put my arm behind my back and he's giving me that chicken wing, and I'm going to yield. Even if I'm not on screen, I will just be streaming with my mic and having fun. And that'll be on Twitch, Scrub_nurse. Sundays, you can find us gaming beyond the box with Wilmy Hood and the crew, Dreadpool, HR Bomber, Peniac, Adam C, and the rest of the crew. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on Sundays. And then, like I said, you might find me other places around. I like to bounce here and there. Thank you, Ham Solo, for inviting me here. This has been awesome. I'm having fun. And we'll just see the rest how it goes. Like I said, this weekend, Wilmy said that we will have Lord Cognito from Iron Lord's podcast and another special guest, which I don't know who that'll be. So don't ask me because I don't even know. But just tune in this Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll find out together.
Dope. Well, hopefully that next episode goes fantastic for you, and I wish you good luck on your ventures within Twitch streaming and any kind of content creating that you have looking forward into the future. But the last thing I'm going to have you do before we get up out of here and I do my little outro is I want you to tell everybody, or I want you to describe to everybody gaming in just 3 words.
To me, 3 words. And no, it's not pew pew pew, which some people know. I'm the leader of the pew pew army. It's make it fun. Just make it fun. If you make a game fun, people will come. Gameplay is king. A lot of people say story, but look at Vampire Survivors. The gameplay will make the people come. If you make it fun, it will be a great game. And if it ain't a great game where everybody play it, the people who do play it will love it and share it out. So my 3 words are make it fun.
I think that's a fantastic 3 words right there, because as you just got done saying story, yeah, that's important and really cool and whatnot, but I don't know too many people that know the story of last year's Game of the Year. Who knows that much of the story about Elden Ring? I wonder. But anyways, One Away Dragons hit me with that not that long ago. He's like, what's the story of Elden Ring? Because I was calling it the Game of the Year. And I was just like, you son of a bitch. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I really don't know. But it was a fantastic time. So you're absolutely right. Gameplay is king. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming in and tuning in. I'm really happy with the turnout. It was fantastic. A bunch of great content creators in the chat. Also, a bunch of just fantastic gamers as well. Thank you guys so much for showing up to this episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming with Scrub Nurse today on the TSWS YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everybody. And as I always say, make sure that you guys are keeping it gaming or keeping it moving. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. Come on. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you